Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to a live stream here tonight, here on this evening. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the ceasefire broke. I think, I heard JD Vance say there were some skirmishes, and you know how it is in the Middle East. This is Middle Eastern activity, I believe. Did you see Candace today? Yeah, she's got a new theory. She thinks she's come out. I was watching Candace Owens. I'm a loyal viewer. I gotta catch it right when she does the live streams. So I'm watching it, and she said that Big Bird killed Charlie Kirk, and I said, "This is huge." I didn't realize it. I didn't see Big Bird at the Turning Point USA event, but apparently that's the new theory. So we'll have to see how well that one does. We'll know when the ceasefire breaks because oil prices will spike. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Dude, there's gonna be fighting in the Middle East. It's inevitable. It's a biblical war. As long as there's nothing crazy. I mean, that's what they said about India, Pakistan. Oh, it's not gonna hold. They're still fighting. But the ceasefires are weird. You can still have skirmishes and the ceasefire is still fine. You enjoyed the Mog video, reinforced your confirmation bias. Yeah, that happens to me sometimes when I look up like posts on X on coins, and I'm like, yes, I knew it. But no, I think Mog will do well, man. I do. What's your take on the Tucker hate? What's the hate for Tucker for having Nick Fuentes on? I don't know, man. Tucker already is hated by a lot of the Zionist side, so I don't really think it's that surprising that Tucker's getting more hate for having Nick Fuentes on. They don't want there to be a normalization of Fuentes because this normalizes him completely. Because think about Tucker and how much of a platform he has on the right, and so it's a big issue for them. But at this point, it's like, I mean, how about those texts from Charlie Kirk? I don't know. Dinesh D'Souza shared those, and I mean, I don't know why I guess he shared them because he was trying to make it look like Tucker Carlson was a bad person for having Nick Fuentes on his program. I guess that's why he shared those texts. But Charlie Kirk was not too happy that Dinesh D'Souza debated Nick Fuentes like a month ago or 2 months ago, whenever that was. And so I don't know, man. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that Tucker is getting that much hate because he's come out against the actions in the United States propping up Israel, and they obviously don't like that. They want the U.S. to continue to support Israel, the Zionist fraction of the right. Do you think the Blue Jays still have a chance to win the World Series? I think it's going to be really hard for them. I mean, they're only down 2-1. It's going to be very hard. The Dodgers are they're just such a stacked team, and now they have the home field advantage. It's just a challenge. I mean, they could still come back. It's baseball. Unless it was like 3-0, then I'd say no. But a 2-1, they could come back. It's going to be a challenge, though. Crowder had Dave Smith on. Yeah, you see people like that, Fuentes and Dave Smith. They go on all these shows. It's like it's the anti-Israel people, and they get now a lot of Republicans are becoming anti-Israel. A lot of the younger people are becoming anti-Israel. And it's forcing a lot of these influencers, these older influencers, to shift their views to a certain degree to try and maintain their audience, I think. Is the shutdown hurting the Republicans in the current elections? I don't think the shutdown, in terms of these 2025 off year elections, I don't think the shutdown really affects it one way or another. It's not going to affect the races to any degree in which, I mean, unless the races are like extremely close to where it's within like 100 votes or something, then maybe, but it's not going to affect the races. This shutdown. I mean, if the shutdown goes on for like 5 months, yeah, it'll affect shit. But that's never gonna happen. They can come to an agreement in an hour if they needed to. I mean, this is like, it's a pissing match for political power. It's both sides don't want to give in to the other, but if they have to come to an agreement, they can come to an agreement within 10 minutes. I mean, how much will polarization escalate, and what would the U.S. look like as two countries, a conservative and liberal one? Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people have done videos on like a civil war or a national divorce between the Republicans and Democrats. I don't know. I think that's really not how it would happen. I don't think. I think what would happen is there would be a single state that secedes, and then other states would join it in seceding.
At Saturn dreaming of Mercury tip $10 through Super Chat. Thoughts on starting your own microbrewery and making some depressed ginger ale?
Microbrewery? No, I never thought about doing that. Thank you for the donation, though. Candace is on a warpath. You don't care what anyone says. You stand by her reporting. Dude, come on. It's obvious she's milking the hell out of this Charlie Kirk stuff at this point. Like, it's played out, you know? How much more evidence do we need to uncover here? Are we gonna be uncovering evidence for like 7 straight months or something? California would probably be the first country to do that. What, secede? Yeah, I don't know. I think it probably a Republican state would probably do it, honestly, but there were so many variables that would have to be at play for something like that. Yeah, I think it's impossible to say how it would go, like if there was a civil war. I think it would just be like localized fighting in major cities, if I had to guess. Something along those lines. I mean, it would be terrible for the country. Is just weakening itself when you have a civil war. But they say, well, maybe in the long run it'll be strengthening it. But it's just it's a terrible situation. I don't really like speculating on it because it's like, what's the point? It kind of seems like a waste of time. Thank you for the $20 donation. I appreciate it. I thought it was going to read it out, but it doesn't read those out. Turning Point USA is just acting sus. Why not release the call logs from Mike? Dude, come on. The coordinator, the young guy that was coordinating the event, now she's going after him. I have seen that dude talk, and it's just not realistic that he was involved in some ridiculous conspiracy, man. It's just not. Would you rather have Muslim or Jew mayor? The hard hitting questions tonight, I see. It's a challenge. It depends on the dynamics of the demographics, I guess, of the where I live. Do you think Brian Kelly is a fit for Penn State? Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be. I think Brian Kelly's a good coach, honestly, but people hate Brian Kelly. You know, he's a passionate guy, and he yells at players and stuff. They don't like that. So, but I like Brian Kelly. I think he's a good coach. So Penn State, that'd be a nice fit. That'd be a good hire for Penn State. But he just wasn't a good fit at LSU. He really, it was like oil and water because He's like a more northern coach, I feel like Brian Kelly versus like an SEC coach. And the SEC, it's SEC's a brutal, it's a brutal conference with tough schedule. You're gonna lose some games, but do you put up Christmas decorations after Halloween or after Thanksgiving? I think oof. Normally it's like a little bit of both, but it's a little bit of both. I feel like most of it you should probably wait till after. No, actually, I think it's before Thanksgiving. But it tends to blend like right in between, right before Thanksgiving. Yeah, I saw Michael Knowles at some type of congressional hearing or something. I'm not sure what it was. Did you go to the gym today? Gonna remind you? You're gonna remind me to go to the gym? Yeah, no, I've been trying to go to the gym, man. I've been trying to go to the gym. I gotta wake up early. The problem is I go to sleep at 3 a.m. and then I wake up at 9 a.m. It's the big issue, man. There's just honestly, it just feels like there's not a lot of news. I don't know. Maybe it's just like a personal thing. Just there's just not a lot of news right now. It was about left wing political violence. Yeah, no, it was. I actually watched some of it, the Michael Knowles stuff. It was about left wing political violence in the wake of the and Cory Booker. I was listening. You know, they try and both sides. You know, the both sides whataboutism is what the liberals were trying to do at that hearing. And he's like, we need to come together and both sides do this. And there was a report. You know, they have that report where it's like, well, there's more right wing by like think about all the violence in the United States. Like the biggest monumental violent is the 2020 George Floyd riots. I mean, that's clearly a leftist event. Clearly, the firebombing of the Tesla dealerships, left wing event. Then they say January 6th. But even comparing January 6th to the Tesla firebombings or to the Floyd stuff, there was way more, infinitely more damage, destruction, and like victims in terms of assaults and even people dying in the liberal protests versus the conservative ones. I don't know where they get these numbers. I think it's like singular events, and then they say, well, this is actually a person on the right, so we can label this right wing extremism or political violence. And I was like, listen, Trump's been shot at, Charlie Kirk was killed. There's no comparing that. Who on the left has been shot at? It just doesn't happen. But even thinking about their bigger events, the George Floyd riots, the Tesla firebombing, I mean, it's not even comparable. And they want to say that the right wing has more. Like, these are major where hundreds and thousands of people are gathering and doing these things. And it's just not even comparable. And then they say, well, there's these one-off events where like somebody who might be a right-winger did something and we can label that as right-wing political extremism. And so now we have this sheet that says the right actually commits all the violence, and that's how they defend themselves, I guess. Trump's approval rating at 40%. Probably a singular poll. Singular poll is at 40% doesn't surprise me. Adrian Peterson got arrested again. Really? Would you rather give up social media or movies and TV forever? I really don't watch much. Well, I don't know. That's what about YouTube? Is YouTube count as social media? I got to keep YouTube, so I'd have to give up the TV. Are people really going to receive their EBT food stamps? Or not? Are they not going to receive it? I don't think they are going to. No, I don't think they're going to. That's why there's all this fuss. Senate bill to make daylight saving time permanent fails. This is never going to pass because there's people that say, well, if you make it permanent, it's going to be too dark at like 9 a.m. in the morning. It's too disruptive. They worry about the safety of people going to work in the darkness. So there's too many people that oppose it. Most people I know want there to be more light at night, but another 0.25% cut, yeah, it's basically guaranteed. It's already been priced in, but it's still bullish, I mean, long term because the interest rates are lower. It's just the reality. I mean, they can say it's priced in. I mean, if they did a 0.5 cut, then we'd see an immediate reaction on the market. Things would go up, but they've priced in probably a 0.25 cut because everyone expects it. Virginia football makes me sick. Dude, Virginia football is, yeah, they've had like 3 overtime wins or some shit. They're like 7-1. They're the worst 7-1 team in college football. I mean, I guess Power 4 team. You go to work in the, yeah, but it's more about kids going to the bus stop, I guess. But like in elementary school, they don't want it to be dark out, basically. People at your church are saying that Trump is the one directly cutting food stamps. No, that would be Congress. I mean, they can blame Trump because he's the president, but it's basically a negotiation. And there was a proposal to keep the government open by the Republicans, and they got the majority, but they had to get to 60. They got like 53 out of 60. Did you watch Nick and Tucker? Yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of that interview. It seemed like Tucker was really trying to play nice, and I think what's happened a lot is you see the amount of support that Fuentes has online. I think a lot of these conservative influencers are like scared at this point. Almost, it seemed like Tucker was really trying to be nice from that interview. Well, Powell's doing what Trump wanted. He's cutting the rates, albeit not by as much as Trump would have wanted. But Trump he can't fire him, so it's better he just cuts them, and it's going to be slow cuts, but at least they know what happened. So get it down to 3.75. Indiana versus Ohio State Big Ten championship game will be held in Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Stadium. Yeah, but I mean, Ohio State's fan base travels really well. I don't think it would be that crazy of a home game for Indiana just because it's in Indiana. It's in Indianapolis. I think Ohio State would travel well. How long until Powell's out? May of 26, I think. How can Judge still block Trump's? I don't know. It was like a congressional vote or something. It was like the Senate voted to block Trump's tariffs on Brazil or something. I don't know exactly. There's a big Supreme Court ruling that's going to be happening about if Trump can implement these tariffs, which is kind of funny because they've already been implemented. But we'll see what comes of that. I think they're probably going to rule in Trump's favor, but it's iffy. Do you like banana bread? I'm not a big banana bread guy, honestly. I mean, banana bread with butter, it's fine. I don't know. Bananas are, when banana in like solid form, it's just it's a little bit much. I'm not a big banana person. I mean, I'll eat a banana every now and then, I guess. Banana it's not bad, but like banana splits, I never have that ice cream or anything like that. Implementing tariffs is essential because every country walks over us. Yeah, but it's not even that. You have to be able to produce your own shit, especially a major supposed powerhouse like the United States. We have to make stuff. You can't rely on the number one adversary to make everything. If they've got all the manufacturing infrastructure and we've got none of it, it's a big problem. They have a leg up over us in a war situation. If that's what happens, you have to produce your own stuff. You can talk about it from another level of them ripping us off, but it's more so I think just the fundamental production of items or goods. Are there going to be riots because food stamps? I don't know, honestly, man. I haven't really heard of any of there being any riots coming, but there might be a few. There might be a few that kick up, or there might be people that get angry. I don't think there's any organized riots, but did you see the big hurricane going through Jamaica? Yeah, I heard about that. So there is a big. Turns out there is a big hurricane. I said there wasn't any hurricanes. This it has been a really weak hurricane season, which obviously is good. But now there is supposedly is one. Too many corporations use tariffs as an excuse to justify their price increases. Yeah, but that's honestly bullshit. That really hasn't been happening. See, if they say that, they're wrong overall. We haven't really seen crazy price increases because of the tariffs. It's been marginal. They'll cite like certain goods going up and say, well, this is because of tariffs, so everything goes up. Yeah, when you cite a certain good, I mean, there could be 100 different reasons it goes up in price. It's not specifically because of tariffs, and but honestly, that shouldn't even be an argument. The argument should be based on the US losing all of its manufacturing to China and trying to recoup some of it, which could lead to price increases. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to make your own stuff. You can't rely on the number one adversary to make everything for you. It's just not a healthy relationship. China doesn't even like that. They're trying to decouple from like the reliance that they have to the US consumer base, and they're trying to be more diverse in terms of where they're exporting things and having relationships with other countries. This has been going on for like a decade. So it's not even like it's just like, oh, Trump is an asshole. It's like the relationship we have with China is just not it's just not healthy. I mean, they like spoon feed us all this mass produced garbage, and it's all made like crap, and just mass produce it to us at a lower price, and we buy it and it costs less money, but it's just not worth it in the long run. You read somewhere they're organizing a hunger march in multiple locations before the second week of November, organized by No King's people. Yeah, I've been reading that they're going to be doing like a walkout or something where they don't go to work or one of these in November, one of the weeks. I'm not sure which, maybe like the third week. Yeah, well, what did Otani go 4 for 4 with like 4 walks? I mean, it's ridiculous. The dude was like 4 for 4 with 4 walks. That game went to 18 innings. Growing number of liberal men in the U.S. are choosing to take their wife's last name after marriage, embracing. Oh my! Like, what is that relationship dynamic? How cucked do you have to be to take? Now, before it was the woman like, I don't want to change. You know, they don't want to change their last name. I think it's disrespectful. You don't change your last name for the husband. But now the husband is changing it. Like, what is that relationship dynamic? I just think that's a power. That's an issue in terms of the power within a relationship. To the man has to take the woman's last name. That's like disrespect times 1,000.
Did you do it? Did you do it? Did you do it? Did you do it?
Oh man.
Mr. Mueller.
And you know, it's just like a power, like the relationship power with the dynamic of it. The woman is just like, oh yes, I control him, because you know it's tradition. The woman always takes the man's last name, so this is like more of a inner relationship dynamic where the woman wants to have power, and so like she's dancing now. Cuck, the cuck dance. The cuck dance. I guess that's how it is now. Oh my goodness.
Of the Empowerment Control Act of 1974. The contingency funding that we set aside for SNAP is not optional spending. It is required by the law. We appropriated that money for this purpose. The White House must spend it, and what they are doing right now, blocking these funds from going out, is illegal. As a matter of fact, on October 1st,
they... Why did she dye her hair purple? Why she dyed her wig purple? She got a purple wig. She's like 95.
Took $750 million from this fund to deal with paying benefits in Puerto Rico and providing administrative costs to other states. So they acknowledge that this fund can be used in order to deal with SNAP benefits. There is nothing stopping the Trump administration from making sure that every single one of the 42 million Americans, 16 million children, 8 million seniors, 4 million people with disabilities.
We can open the government, but we must be able to, if we can sell your wig, we'll be able to open the government. That wig is like it's like the Mona Lisa. Yeah, this is what it was. U.S. Senate votes to terminate Trump's 50% tariffs on Brazil imports. Republicans. House would still need to pass. So it's irrelevant.
Democratic leaders before the shutdown.
But that was a 1-hour meeting where he basically said, here's our bill, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
That's not a negotiation.
Yeah. Schumer has shown no indication whatsoever that he's changed his posture from that day. So talking with him and trying to negotiate is a waste of time.
Air traffic.
Phase 2 of the ceasefire is already being discussed, and despite the violation today, it is expected to move forward as planned.
Israel accused Hamas of violating ceasefire. Hamas quickly distanced itself from incident and claimed it had no connection to the attack on the IDF. It looks like it's going forward from what I see. You know, there's always going to be reports of it failing. Israel fucking shit up again. Well, I think it's gonna hold. But they're always testing it, yeah. But then they just blame Hamas, and then Hamas says, no, we didn't do anything, it was you, and...
I don't take it seriously because he will, be in violation of the Constitution, and he should be arrested if he attempts to do that.
You think he should be arrested if he attempts to have a third term in any way? At what point? I mean, if he talks about it, what constitutes doing that in your view?
If he files to run for presidency and attempts to run for elections, and then circumvents and ignores the rules, I think of that would be a quick decision by the Supreme Court, then at that point, once his presidency is up, when he is, supposed to be, out of office, he's a violation of the Constitution of the United States and he should be arrested.
You went to a friend's who had regular YouTube. It was a commercial every 2 minutes. You don't know how people. Yeah, you can't really sit through after you get the premium. You can't really go back. Well, I actually did have premium, then I didn't, but it was like there was like a time period in between, and then I've had it for like the past 2 years. And welcome to Dairy HBO Max. No, I haven't watched that. Is that like Pennywise? Netanyahu couldn't control himself. Yeah, but I think it's gonna hold, man. I mean, with the Middle East, you're gonna get dust ups. You're gonna get sometimes it's not gonna go 100% smoothly. But let's just hope it holds.
At Saturn dreaming of Mercury tip $10 through Super Chat. What if China, against expectations, used their build-up to rush the Russian border to secure the oil? Could Russia stop them before China digs in? Would Russia be willing to risk that against China?
Now, we don't need that. Yeah, I know. There probably will be something with Russia and China in the future just because of the proximity to each other, with the border, but Russia is would be overextended. I mean, that would be a two-front situation for them. I mean, but then you'd also have to factor in the help that the Russians would get, and how would the United States side, and it would be a really weird dynamic if China did that, taking advantage of the Russian resources that they use, in the Western. I don't know. I mean, I think it would destabilize the world if that happened. Fed rate gonna make the markets go crazy tomorrow. I mean, if they cut by 0.5, I think it'll go crazy for sure. 0.25, I think it's already priced in. I mean, it'll probably send the markets up a little bit, but if they cut by 0.5, then that would be a shock, and it would we would see a jolt, I would say, for sure. I don't know about a jolt with a 0.25 cut, though. If there's like a 99% chance of a 0.25 cut, I kind of think it's like, well. You paid $2.39 a gallon for gas yesterday, Louisiana. Yeah, it's like, it's in Ohio, it's like $2.78, $2.68. So it's really low. I mean, that is low for sure. It's got to be low everywhere at this point with the price of crude oil. Our price is actually going down because GOP says yes, but Dems always say no. Well, it depends what item you're talking about. So prices go down on some things, they go up on others. I mean, in terms of the overall aggregate, I mean, inflation goes up, but it's under control relative to what it was. So you can say, well, things are going up, but not to the same degree that they were. And then some things go down. I mean, look at eggs, for example. Eggs has legitimately gone down. So it just depends. Like, really, it's item by item.
I think he's trolling the Democrats, which he loves to do, and they fall for it every time. They've been doing it for 10 years on a number of issues. Look, the president himself acknowledged that this sort of gimmicky idea about, electing him vice president, and I guess the other gimmick would be to elect him Speaker of the House and then have the president, vice president resign. These are all gimmicks. He said it would be too cute by half, and he's right. He's not going to need a third term. He's had two very successful terms, I'm sure, by the end of 2028. But I think this is a troll. I think people are unnecessarily falling for it, and I think they're probably selling a ton of hats because of it, and they're laughing the entire time it's happening.
Let's watch what Senator.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think it's really realistic, but
course, and there is appropriate concern, the kind of concern that one would never have on the left because they don't face any threats.
Well, that was another disconnect.
And there is.
Because it is going to come back and bite the city. He is so far left, and he mixes his leftism with Islamism. He's going to make the de Blasio years look like the golden age. And I can tell you in Florida, we're affected by this just with the law enforcement alone. If you're working at NYPD, do you want to go out there and risk your life knowing that the mayor hates you? No, a lot of them are not going to want to do that. And in Florida, we've established a $5,000 recruitment bonus. So if you are somebody that doesn't want to serve under that guy as mayor, you come to Florida, any state or local law enforcement agency, you get $5,000 right at the top.
A very interesting offer.
What's the best pick of the week? You got Texas 1.5 point over Miami. Yeah, I think Texas will win, honestly. Best pick. I think Ohio State minus 20.5. I think Ohio State will cover. Well, I'd have to look at all the games if just choosing one pick. But no foreign-born dual citizen should hold political office. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that for sure. You hear Florida is discussing ending property tax. Yeah, I mean, but if they end it, there's probably going to be other conservative states that end it as well. They're just going to follow them if they do. Yeah, DeSantis has been talking about that loudly for like months, ending property taxes.
Is confirmed. On this vote, the yeas are 52, the nays are 47. The nomination.
And why we keep doing this.
Government Affairs reporter Melissa Russo, senior politics editor at Politico Sally Goldenberg, and Telemundo 47 anchor Rosarena Breton. This is a 2-hour debate.
All right, so we have talked about this, and I don't just...
when they pronounce it like that?
I just don't get why we do this, who started it, when this started, but whenever it is a Spanish name, we are all suddenly required and expected to shapeshift into the perfect Spanish accent. Normal, everyday news people do it all the time. They forget years of training. They forget their non-regional diction. That Telemundo anchors, by the way, Rosarena Brenton. Just say Rosarena Brenton. But for whatever reason, we all feel the need to pronounce it like we're living in Mexico, like we're living in a country where Spanish is the native tongue. That's not the case here in the U.S. Rosarena Brentania. He said it. I couldn't understand what he was saying. As I've said before, I am Irish. And if I was moderating that debate, would the host introduce me as Robert James Finnerty, don't you know, the little lad? There he is, Robert James Finnerty. If the host was Chinese, would they then introduce that person with a Chinese accent? I don't think so. So stop doing it when they're Spanish. Just stop it. Also, we don't need to say all three names when they are Spanish. No one describes me as Robert James Finnerty. I'm just Rob Finnerty. We don't need to say Kilmar Abregu Garcia.
Bro's
it's just
throwing strays
Kilmar
out.
Garcia. I don't know who started this, but enough's enough. Stop. Just stop.
Bro's throwing out some strays. No, that's a great point. That is a great point. But that's actually, you see, it's we have to assimilate to them. They come to the country. We're the ones that have to assimilate. That's a good point. We have to assimilate down to like the pronunciation of a name, even if we're pronouncing the name in English. I thought he was going to do the Chinese one. We need a Charlie Kirk iceberg video. But that doesn't even, like a Charlie Kirk iceberg video, we have to wait for the trial to happen because that's when a lot of the evidence is going to come out and stuff. The Charlie Kirk iceberg video would be like 7 different Candace Owens conspiracies with a bunch of like normie slop at the top. And it would just be all Candace Owens. Okay, now we're on to the 4th Candace Owens conspiracy. On to the 6th Candace Owens conspiracy. She shared these text messages about Charlie last. Join your Battlefield 6 squad. Yeah, we get destroyed. At least Stefanik. Category 5. Damn.
This is outside. I'm looking outside in my house, looking outside.
Was that livestock?
And there are no rivers, anything like that.
Yeah, MLB's gonna have a lockout or something. I don't know how long it'll last, but it's probably gonna be pretty bad. Jamaicans don't give a fuck. They're throwing parties from what you've seen. Well, I mean, it depends how strong the storm is. They'll certainly have to give a fuck if this. I mean, if it's gale force winds. Yeah, so it crosses over Jamaica. Wow, and it's gonna miss the US completely with that trajectory. Hits Cuba as a category 4. You heard the storm was so strong they had to invent category 6 to describe it. I haven't heard anything about the storm. I don't know about that. No hurricane has ever entered the Gulf of America. That's true. Because this year it's been really quiet. The female prime minister at the Trump rally today. I don't know. I didn't see the Japanese prime minister you're talking about. Three Cat 5s this year isn't that quiet, but yeah, low. I mean, it's quiet in U.S. terms. There's no, none of these have, made landings in the United States. When is Maduro gone? I don't know. It's not. I don't think it's a great situation to be involved in Venezuela. It's just people are not going to take that well if Trump really gets involved heavily. So we'll have to see. November election predictions. Yeah, I mean, it would be like this. I would wait until this weekend because it's Tuesday. Yeah. I don't think it's, or Friday maybe. Do them on Friday. Try and get more polling. But at the end of the day, I think we kind of know it's going to be an uphill battle. It seems like, you maybe predict the upset in New Jersey. Virginia is a big challenge. I think Virginia, you can't realistically say there's much of a chance there. For the attorney general, yes. The governor, no. Freddie Freeman. Yeah, Freddie Freeman's a solid player. He gets overshadowed on the Dodgers, but do you like the Indy 500? No, I don't really follow. I don't follow NASCAR. Cheryl's gone back down a little bit, but it's like $50 basis point decrease is what we need. No, it's not going to happen. What is this in review? Oh, what? There's college football games on Tuesday? Do you think people are back into liking baseball, or is that just the playoffs? I don't know. Does it have really good ratings? I mean, there definitely is an uptick in ratings with the pitch clock. The ratings have been better, I know, with that. But other than that, I don't know. Have the ratings up? Did you see all the guys mad about Halo using? Yeah, I saw that. I'm just like, that's insane that they're that angry about it. I think I have it on here. Destroy the Flood. The Flood is like that infectious, those little organisms that flood areas and infect everything. Yeah, I guess people are mad about them using the Halo stuff to try and push the propaganda of deportations. Dude, I don't even know. Like, what the fuck do these people want? What, seriously, what? And look, I guess they're mad because it's like, oh, you're gloating while people are getting deported. The United States has the most amount of illegal immigrants out of any country in the world. What do you want us to do? We're just supposed to keep taking immigrants until the country just becomes a third world cesspool? I don't understand. I mean, I guess they're just mad because they're like, oh, you're gloating about it. But I think a lot of these people are just mad that illegals are getting deported. Like, what did you think Trump was going to do? And then we have to listen to this over, just them bitch constantly. Like, it wasn't even a close election. This is what people wanted. They wanted all these people to be deported. I don't know what to tell you. I'm just tired of hearing people bitch. You used to watch a channel called Election Time during the election, and at first he predicted all 7 swing states to Trump, but then he cut down and gave Michigan and Wisconsin to Kamala. Yeah, I know Election Time. I've seen some of his videos. He seems like a Republican leaning channel, but I don't know, maybe not. But I think he's like a Republican leaning channel. Normally with these election channels, you can kind of tell the bias pretty easily. what's going to have to happen for the Democrats to vote for the CR? It's the time. There's going to be more time passing, and they're going to run out of money to fund these government programs. Then they're going to be forced to vote for it. If that's what it ends up taking, I mean, I think they're trying to force the Republicans' hand to compromise. But at a certain point, they're gonna run out of time to be able to do that. They're gonna have to compromise on something. But we'll see who ends up giving in. I think it's gonna be the Democrats. I don't see Trump giving in right now, with obviously him and the executive, and then also the chambers. I mean, they're not going to give in to the Democrats' demands. It would come off so weak. And the Democrats can do this because it's like, well, Trump's big, bad, and evil, and he has to negotiate. Well, this was already negotiated. I believe what they're trying to argue for is something that's already been negotiated. That's already been, they were removing it via the big beautiful bill, and they want it back in some form. They want this temporary funding back for maybe emergency health care, but I don't know. No, he's right wing, definitely, but you were disappointed that he didn't hold to his initial prediction. Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking, I mean, when like that type of stuff, I was thinking about maybe splitting the swing states. I just didn't see enough polling in Harris's favor to do it. I mean, your wife's oldest son had his car broken into at his apartment and his wife's apartment in Washington. He is basically done living in this state. What, in like Seattle? That's where pretty much all that crime happens, like big city.
At Yankee Aluva 100 tip $5 through Super Chat. I think Secular Talk has lost the plot. His takes are getting more deranged. He's still convinced Kirk's killer was a grow wiper.
Yeah. Kalinsky, the dude, I mean, he like dyes his hair blonde or something. There's a grown man dyeing your hair. I don't know. You don't take that seriously. But yeah, if he still thinks it's a groiper, it's just delusion at that point. Well, they tried to litter the system with all the information, the fake information about the killer, because they didn't want to take responsibility for it being a leftist, and turns out it's a leftist and he's dating a trans person. It's like the worst case scenario for them. So maybe it's just denial at this point. What's this Trump speech from today people are talking about? I don't know. I think he's in Japan, maybe still giving a speech or something. I'm not sure. Rapid report, maybe. Rapid response. Yeah, Newsom has been trying to do this this Dollar General version of Trump. I think that's like their strategy now, is to like be vulgar or try and be funny like Trump. It just comes off as copycat bullshit. Yeah, it's just blame game on the shutdown. USS George Washington Naval Base in Japan. Did you see Amazon lay off 14K employees today? That's crazy. Yeah, probably automation, I believe is what it is. Is that what they cited? Did they cite why they did it? That secular Tark dude was theorizing that the picture of the bullet casings being written anti-ice on the ice shooting was fake because It was well. I to be honest, when I saw that, I was like, okay, like if you're going to commit an act of violence like that, and like on the bullet, you would not write the words anti-ice. You know, like unless you have like mental like problem. Because think about it, like the context of it. Now, I think the kid was just slow or something, but it's like you would write fuck ice, or you would write something that was really vulgar. Like, just to write anti-ice, I mean, it's just like a weird thing to write. Anti-ice, I remember that. Yeah, they took a photo of it, and you could see it said anti-ice. Like, I mean, I get, I get that's why you're doing the shooting, but it just doesn't seem something, like, realistic to write as a statement. That's not a vacation. That's part of leadership. You got to go to foreign countries and keep relationships. That's what that is. The Trump speech is 50 minutes or an hour, I think. We'll play it like
Prime Minister that is signed today and private sector agreements that were signed moments ago will be increasing our commerce very, very much further. Japan's going to be investing $550 billion into the United States, and it's an amazing thing, and they're happy, and they're gonna love it. It's going to be really good. It's going to be a great for everybody. But building up an allied industrial base, and one of the things that makes me so happy is they'll be taking some of our product. Japan has I don't think I'm saying anything that's very secret. They've been typically slightly closed as a country. It was not easy to come in, but they're taking some of our cars and a lot of our different thing, rice, which is actually a big deal because, as you know, they wouldn't do that, and they're taking corn. And they're taking the Ford 150 right here, the big thing, some of our cars. So it's really a great thing. It's going to be great for them. It's going to be great for everybody.
Yeah, they're doing business. I mean, this is what Trump does. He goes to these countries and they agree to invest into each other's economy.
The United States and Japan is strong as it can be, and it's thriving, it's prosperous, and it'll soon be, I think, greater than ever before. But tonight I'm more confident than ever that the friendship
Twitch slop. Wow, they're really decorating. How many pumpkins do you need? I have like 3 pumpkins, 4 pumpkins. Did you see the CEO of Ford crying about not being able to hire mechanics? No, I didn't see that. They got enough pumpkins. They ravaged a pumpkin patch. They got like 500 pumpkins. Who shoulders the blame for the shutdown? Well, it actually would be. I mean, the Republicans presented, they got 53 votes out of it. That's the majority to keep it open. I mean, they wanted to keep it open. So yeah, I would say the Democrats are the ones that voted to close it by voting against the continuing resolution And then they'll say, well, you should negotiate if you have the majority because of the 60 votes, the filibuster. So it just goes back and forth. Apparently, it's like a 2-week wait to get a vehicle in to fix it. Everywhere? A 2-week wait? Or just at Ford's? The new ballroom decorations for Christmas is going to go so hard. Yeah, that will be beautiful. I mean, it's a beautiful ballroom. It's going to be. I mean, look at the ceiling design of it. I was looking at those renderings. They look really impressive. They should be. I mean, it's, architecture nowadays should be done extremely well. Sometimes they cut corners, modern days, but something like that, it's like a state building. It has to be done very professionally, extremely detail oriented. Israel is not the one who broke the deal. I mean, it's going to be a blame game. It's how the Middle East is. They blame each other. If somebody breaks the deal, the other one blames them. I mean, the Democrats want to destroy the ballroom. I don't think they're going to do anything to it. They're not going to destroy it. They say that just because they hate Trump right now.
Congress comes to an agreement here?
I have no idea. I mean, you started off talking about the fact that the president is in Japan. The president has time to do everything but what he needs to focus on. In fact, we heard the press secretary say that his main priority is the ballroom that no one asked for, the ballroom that requires him to destroy historic pieces of the White House. And so it doesn't seem like he's interested.
And that context of the comment from Caroline Leavitt, she was asked if the president was working on any other renovations when it came to the White House, and she was saying his focus was the ballroom. But to your point about what the president said, do you believe this will be the week that Congress comes?
Wow, she actually fact-checked her. Yeah, I don't know why they say that. It's just like so out of context. It's so stupid. So stupid and out of context. Thoughts on the New Jersey poll? It's supposedly a +10 D-sample poll. What was that? The one you're talking about? The one that had Cheryl +3, 49-46, I think. Quantus Insights. Yeah, they say they're a slightly more Republican pollster, but it's a +10 Democrat sample. I mean, obviously it depends. I mean, you could argue it should be like +6, +7 based on the last election, but they'd say maybe it's a bit of an aberration. I don't know. I mean, +3 Cheryl. I mean, it's within margin of error, but it is like a slight Republican pollster.
Look, we're all being aggressive. I've said from day one we're going to concentrate on public safety threats and national security threats. But if you're in the country legally, you're not off the table. We'll arrest you too. So the number speaks for themselves, Laura.
And it's just still images of Kristi Noem.
Secure border in history of this nation. Over 23,000 missing kids
just
have been
like
found
action
and
shots.
saved. And we have a record number of arrests and deportation. We're going to hit 600,000 real soon, which will be a historic record. And we're going to keep going. As we get more agents on, you're going to see arrests increase twice, 3 times. You're going to see the numbers skyrocket.
In any way accurate.
Did you see the whole debacle with Stephen A. Smith criticizing Jasmine Cracker for being ghetto and not getting anything done and then getting backlash by black liberals unfolding immediately? Yeah, I did see him do that. It doesn't really surprise me. I don't really think there's going to be... Dude, Halo. Remember this? This was 2024. This reminds me of the Everyone is Awesome Lego set, the Gay Pride Lego set. But it is funny, like, the people like Stephen A. Smith, the reason, like, all of their stuff, it's like this huge thing because, you know, they're considered liberal. So when they say something against the left, it's like, oh, this is so crazy. You know, like, I constantly see that on the internet. It's like when somebody on the left says something, oh my goodness, this is like the earth, this is the earth shattering. It's like, it's like, well, if he says it.
Jews, vile about
That's
the
not true.
NYPD. It is true.
What did he say about Jews? What did he say?
From the river to the
Verbatim.
sea.
Oh, please. You're going to talk
Please,
about
that is offensive.
Okay,
Please,
the
that's
Lacoon
offensive.
Charter
Go for it.
literally
Go for
says
it.
that they're going to pursue the
And all
Greater
the Jew-
Israel Project and literally steal land from all these Middle
And
Eastern
this is
countries.
why-
The Greater Israel Project on CNN. Greater Israel.
Please don't give me that nonsense about from the river to the sea. Please.
This is the new Democratic Party
Exactly.
policy. This is the platform.
It is a rejection of the establishment. That's what it is. Because the establishment has not actually looked out for
anti-Semitic. That's what it is. Fundamentally
anti-Israel. Please stop with this nonsense.
I get called a fascist every single day. I can call you an anti-Semitic because it's exactly what you are doing.
Hold on,
the Democratic Party has an anti-Semitic
why? Because he doesn't want to visit Israel as the
Dude,
mayor
this
of
stuff-
New York City? Is that why?
They're just talking over each other, and now it's like you can't even hear it.
Arrest Bibi Netanyahu.
He should be arrested. He's a war criminal.
There you go. Modern day
Yeah,
Democratic
there you go.
Party.
I'm right.
Modern day
He's
Democratic
wanted by the
Party.
International Criminal Court. There's a warrant out for his arrest.
Modern day Democratic Party.
Yeah, I don't really think being that, you know, when you're that loud, it does become, it takes away from your argument a bit. But you having tacos for Taco Tuesday or no? I used to have tacos, kind of tacos with Cool Ranch Doritos. It's not good for you, but those taste really good. You just get Cool Ranch Doritos, you get ground meat with taco. Anna is cute, but you disagree with her. Yeah, I know you're very pro-Israel, but I like you threw in that she was cute. I needed your opinion on her. Now now it's I feel a lot more complete that I have your opinion on the attractiveness of her. It's fair. Levitt is hotter. Yeah, I mean Levitt. There's some shots where Levitt looks older, but then others she looks really cute. It just depends. I can't really describe it.
Shut down, so you guys can use this time for leverage. But now nearly 2 million Americans are going to go without paychecks at the end of the week. Do you have any comment on this? Can you explain how this leverage actually benefits the American people?
I'm really confused by your question. The President of the United States controls the White House. The Republicans in the House and the Senate have shown their willingness to do a form of yoga I've never seen, to bend over backwards and do whatever he wants them to do. So when you control the White House, the Senate, and the House of Representatives,
But then it gets neutralized by the filibuster.
This is their shutdown. Democrats are doing what the minority party has always done, which is saying we've got to come together and work a way forward. But Donald Trump doesn't even want to work with us. He's on another foreign tour while the government's shut down and Americans are hurting in a crisis. And the House of Representatives has been out for 5 weeks. So I'm simply saying, hey, people are hurting and come to the table. Let's all negotiate and get out of this.
Bros out of there.
Okay, and what about AFG, the largest federal employees union, is now calling on Democrats to just pass the
Whoa. I like those models right there. Those are nice. I wonder if they have a diorama of the new ballroom.
Partisan CR, the same one you guys have passed 13 times previously under Biden. Is this going to change the political calculus for Senate Democrats?
Again, it passed under Biden because we had bipartisan negotiation. They're refusing to do bipartisan negotiation. The biggest union that represents federal workers are simply saying, we've been appealing to Republicans to do that for a long time. That's fallen on deaf ears. Democrats help us out.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Levitt is just a normal white woman. The makeup and dress style makes her hotter. Yeah, but also she's in decent shape. I mean, with women nowadays, that's half the battle. Charlie Kirk guy clip, dude. That's not even a clip. There's not even anything there. I know what you're talking about. The dude that like coordinates the entire thing. Come on, man. Candace has just got to stop. This is like the Hail Mary, the new Hail Mary attempt. Nick Fuentes on the Tucker interview about Trump. He's a good guy fundamentally. Yeah, I mean, he's counter-signaled the hell out of Trump, but I think he's trying to appeal to normies, so he says that probably, if I had to guess. What if the shutdown lasts 7 weeks? Wasn't the shutdown vote to fund the government just for 7 weeks? Yeah, they're gonna have. Well, at some point, that's why I'm saying time is gonna run out. They're gonna have to. They can come to an agreement at any point, bro. It just has to get to the point to where they're not going to be able to fund certain government programs that they need to fund. And the far right doesn't scare you like the far left because the latter has more institutional control. Well, the far left, it's a lot more normalized in society, like, and also what they'll do is they'll call anyone on the right or like pushing for like any like pro-white push, it's just going to be labeled like Nazi. Basically, that's what they do. With the far left, I mean, there's not even like term verbiage for like people on the far left. I mean, socialist, communist, but like that's not even something people say. It's just different. Somebody asked someone in Congress about how Biden was going with his cancer treatment, and they said, "We're looking forward." How cold are they? Yeah, what even happened with that, man? And that was pretty shameless when they announced that news, because they announced it right when Jake Tapper was dropping his book exposing the Biden administration. It's just funny how that all works. Did you see the X402 ecosystem doing very well in crypto? VPay is up 70. I don't even know what that is, honestly, man. Do you have a good Halloween story time? Maybe around Halloween I've got something. I mean, I had... Around Halloween time, there's maybe a few stories, but... Do you think the Epstein situation would have been different if Matt Gaetz was the AG? Well, I mean, it depends how much of the... I mean, I think for sure it would have been different to a degree. Anyone could have handled the situation better than Bondi. But it's also things out of Bondi's control as well. That they don't want shared... Really, the government doesn't want shared in general. The Uniparty doesn't want shared. But the communication with the public would have been handled... I would hope it would have been handled better with somebody else and really anyone else. But also, again, with Bondi, there's certain things that are kind of out of her control just because that's the way the government is. Things that you'd think she'd be in control of. But people don't like Bondi. Bondi, it seems like she's very weak. She's like, she'll do things when Trump says to do them, but she doesn't really push. And it's almost like she's a robot. Like, I get a very... There's just not a lot of thoroughness or like forward thinking in terms of like aggressiveness in terms of prosecutions. I think with Bondi, that's the criticism with her. And then I mean the botched situation, like the communication is not good with the Epstein stuff. You feel like the shock value of Fuentes and others like him will lose its luster after a bit and lose. Yeah, I mean, it's like one of those things where it's like a phenomenon. You know, you can market yourself as like be banned by everyone, and then you're not banned by everyone, and then it's like, okay. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. It's definitely unique to have somebody that young kind of break in and have this much notoriety. There's no denying it. It's like something that I really can't gauge, honestly. EBT gets cut off November 1st will be the crash out month. That's when it gets cut, November 1st. Well, okay, so we'll know the exact, it's going to be, we'll see. We'll see what they end up doing. I mean, maybe they'll come to an agreement. It won't happen. I don't know. Bondi got Trump legal victories in the background. Yeah, but it's very, to even charge Comey, there was a statute of limitation, and I was like watching something as I was doing something. So there was a statute of limitation that was going to come up, and Trump had to personally like call Bondi, or I think he called her out on Truth Social and said, you need to charge him with something. It's coming up. And then that's, if you guys remember when Trump said something about Comey, the Comey case, and then she finally charged something. And then he also had to remove some like liberal lawyer that didn't want to, or liberal judge that didn't want to charge Comey with anything and insert one of his own judges. But it's like a lot of this stuff is like, it's like pulling teeth with her almost. You heard EBT is allocated to the end of the year? Well, I mean, if that's the case, then I don't know. Then there wouldn't be an issue until the end of the year. What do you think the third temple is going to be? Well, it's good. It's a challenge for they're not going to be able to build it. If they try and build it, there's going to be another war. What's your take on Colin Rugg as a person? I don't know him. I'm not sure. Pam Bondi needs to charge the January 6th committee now. You paid the super chat with your EBT. We're getting a lot of these like $2 super chats. I appreciate it. It's the EBT money kicked in. The EBT community comes to the rescue and allows me to buy a Big Mac. Allows me to go to a late night McDonald's run with this funding source. This is nice. Do you think the Trump administration will take a hard look at SNAP after the shutdown? You wonder how many millions go into that each year. Yeah, I've looked at it. It's about 1.5% of the allocated annual budget goes into that, so not much. They say it helps it spurs government or economic activity. I don't know why that didn't. Fuck it, here's $10. Thank you, I appreciate it. That's very nice. I don't know why the lady didn't read it off. Maybe it's because my stream disconnected or something before. But, yeah, basically what happened with the SNAP is it's around 1.5%. But they say, well, it spurs economic activity. Yeah, it does, but it's not, you can't rely on that. Because, like, when you give can't use your EBT card for gooning anymore. Disappointing. You losing out on the OF subscriptions. But basically, they say, well, when you give out food stamps, it creates economic activity because people immediately go out and buy food, and then the money gets recirculated. But long term, that's not. I mean, you can't do that because you're basically just putting more money into circulation and stuff. So it doesn't really help long term in terms of economic growth. It's like a short term thing. The SNAP stuff. But I don't think it's really a budget. The bigger problem, it's not the allocation or the amount of money necessarily. It's the amount of illegal immigrants. I don't even know how they say undocumented immigrants. 9% of them are on food stamps. I don't even know how are they eligible for food stamps? How are illegal immigrants getting food stamps? I mean, this stuff, it's like, how do you even interpret it?
Do the job, right? This is what Republicans have been saying for years now, is that she is just another evidence that DEI doesn't work, whether that's in the White House in your press secretary role, or whether that's an air traffic controller, an air pilot, whether that's your doctor. You want to hire the best for the role, not just based on skin color. Jake, why did she get the job over John Kirby?
Well, why are we assuming that she, as a black LGBT, gay woman, is DEI, but a white woman who is behind the podium right now, which DEI initially started as affirmative action, which was about affirmatively hiring women and minorities? Why is one DEI and the other is not?
Why did she get the job over John Kirby? Because as everyone has said this week, she is woefully incompetent.
She had the job long before John Kirby.
I will just say she used to be a commentator on CNN, then she was one on MSNBC. Mm-hmm. And she was good at that. Like, I mean, I'm without getting into the job I thought she did as press secretary. I thought it didn't seem crazy to me because she was eloquent as a commentator.
Why is she trained every 4 sentences to say she is a black, queer, LGBTQ woman? Because that's how she's been promoted her entire career.
Anyway, Katie Miller and Karen Finney.
Well, I mean, obviously they like doing that. That hits on like everything. Just look at this. Dude, this is just disgusting. We got an obesity problem. Do you think the new social media app that Biden announced he was creating the other day at JFK Center? Well, I don't even know what you're talking about, a social media app. I didn't even know Biden was doing appearances at this point. It's a large Charlie Kirk banner.
For years and years, he's been attacking me, and it's one way, and he won't have me on. He's consistently not having me on. By the way, I'm moving on. I have no interest. You're done with him? Joe Rogan's the Facebook of podcasting.
Whoa. He just called Rogan the Facebook of podcasting.
Brightest minds in podcasting right now. The guy was in the mic. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of people at the mic doing extraordinary things in podcasting.
Joe Rogan's got a pretty big audience still, though.
You know what? But with all due respect, if he has a big audience but he doesn't have big enough confidence, I didn't go there, to have me on.
Well, you've called him a chicken.
He's been attacking for. Here's the thing.
You're making fun of his height.
They all have something in common. It's one way. They attack, they belittle, they demean, they take things out of context. But this is a serious thing.
Yeah.
And so often we just sit back and go, oh, God, I really would love to go on. Oh, if Kamala Harris just went on Joe Rogan, she would have won. It's not. It's so much deeper than that.
No, she still would have lost.
And the unwillingness for a guy like that to even have the common courtesy to attack someone and not have the decency to say, you know what, why don't you have a chance to come on? Let's have a civil dialogue. I've watched you on podcasts with like Sean Ryan, who's a close buddy of his. He had the courage on me have 4 hours.
Right.
Sean Hannity, folks like that. And so if I can go on Sean Ryan and Sean Hannity, what are you worried about? Joe, you're going to cook me, or I'm going to cook myself.
Dude, Rogan should keep trolling him now. Rogan should come out and say I invited him on, but he actually declined me. Rogan should just come out and just say it's actually him who didn't want to come on. Joe Rogan is the Facebook of podcasting. Whoa. I don't even know he's still the number one podcaster. I don't even know who's a big podcaster now. Dude, it's hard to be like a big podcaster because it's just like, it's hard to have personality through just podcast or through listening to audio. I guess it's like a radio show. Sean Ryan just smiles and agrees with all his guests. Yeah, I don't watch the Sean Ryan stuff. I don't find it compelling. I mean, there was one thing maybe like a year ago with Sean Ryan that I thought, it was like when he had the inside scoop to that Vegas Cybertruck blow up or whatever. Remember that? That was like around New Year's, I think. Kamala Harris unscripted interview would be the equivalent to a Biden debate. Yeah, I mean, especially if it was like 2.5, 3 hours. Like once you get deeper into it, because you can kind of skate through an interview for a short period of time. But you know, if it's a long form podcast, it becomes harder for her to get through that, I think. Rogan is washed these days, but he would probably cook Newsom. Yeah, but I don't really know how you're washed if you're still the number one podcast. I mean, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But you really can't be. I mean, I get people don't like Rogan anymore. I used to listen to Rogan maybe 4 years ago in 2021. Yeah, like 2021. Maybe 2022. But it's too much of a time commitment. And then you play it on 2x speed. It's like, it's just no time for me to listen to it. The Tucker Fuentes interview already has 2.5 million views in one day. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me because, I mean, it's major, popular figures. The last Rogan podcast you watched was Charlie Sheen, and before that, the Trump one. Yeah, no, I didn't watch the Sheen one, but I did see that he was on there. That was the Sheen one is when the Charlie Kirk shooting happened, and there was a clip of Rogan finding out about it. If you remember that, so that I saw that. I haven't watched a single. Rogan. It's like Bert Kreischer. Remember this? Bert Kreischer, Tom Segura. Who's the Brian Callen? Brendan Schaub. Remember that? I don't know if he still has those guys on. Dude, he would have those guys on every week. Like, it's like, dude, come on. But they used to have good podcasts. Maybe I think they got a little bit more stale, but Young Turks will interview Nick Fuentes. Yeah, probably, honestly. Because think about where Anna Kasparian is with the Israel stuff. They'd agree on it. Cenk Uygur also hates Israel as well. They'd probably agree on a lot of that stuff. They just talk about Israel the whole time. Rogan isn't washed up. It's just when he got Trump and JD on, he hit his peak, U.S. viewers, and essentially. Yeah, no, I don't think it's because of the viewership. I think it's more so people say, dude, because think about it. How many times can you do a podcast 3 hours a day and people are going to listen every time? You say the same stuff over and over again. You have to. There's no human way. Because now, I mean, If Rogan didn't get that crazy deal, there's no way Rogan would still be doing podcasts if he didn't get that crazy deal from Spotify. I think it very clearly is a job for him at this point. Like, I don't think there's a ton of, like, how many times can you say the same shit over and over again in 3 hours and have it recorded every single time? It's just like, it gets views, so you have to keep doing it, because if you get $20 or $30 million a year. He has Trump on and endorses him and then starts bashing Trump on the immigration. Yeah, they were all doing that. But that's what Theo Von started doing, Andrew Schultz. They all started doing the exact same thing. And all it is just like soft propaganda too from the and everybody knew it was going to happen. When you deport people, you have to physically remove them. I guess it doesn't play well in terms of propaganda for a lot of people that are like lukewarm, don't really follow politics much. We can't teleport the people back to Mexico. We do have to physically deport them. What does that mean? Well, that means raids. Oh, they don't like raids too much, I guess. Oh my god, this person, man. It's like...
Thank you, Neo. For $20,000, you can pre-order 1X's Neo robot now, with delivery in 2026. I think you missed a tiny spot over here. Just one little catch. There may be a human behind the curtain, pulling the robot's strings.
If I throw up, will the robot throw up?
A company representative may need to peer into your house via Neo's camera eyes to get things done.
To many people, this is crazy.
You have to be okay with this for the product to be useful.
We're twinning now, Neo.
1X is taking on home robotics' biggest challenges, creating a safe body and a smart brain. Its fabric-covered body lets Neo try to do a lot of things humans do around the house. Emphasis on...
These prototypes are going to be miserable. They'll fine-tune this. This thing will be great in 2035. You don't want any part of this thing. It's gonna be unusable. Like the first batch of these things.
And try.
You got this, Neo. You got it.
My challenge, load 3 items in the dishwasher. And that took 5 minutes. The challenge isn't just Neo's body, it's also its brain. It needs to know how to perform tasks on its own, without human help. But right now, everything I saw Neo do was guided by a skilled teleoperator in a VR headset. This is how Neo learns. The videos of the robot doing household work via teleoperation.
I don't know if this is real or not.
Become the training data to make the AI models.
Wall Street Journal? This is a parody.
Smarter. That's why 1X is putting Neo in the homes of early adopters.
I think it's quite important for me to just say that in 2026, if you buy this product, it is because you're okay with that social contract. If we don't have your data, we can't make the product better.
The next few years isn't about owning a super useful robot. It's about raising one. But at least this robot can have lots of fun.
No, like this. 6, 7, 6, 7.
Yeah, people get attached to that thing. They get attached to ChatGPT.
I mean, I'm getting more and more thinking the best thing that could happen to humanity is the internet could go down.
Yeah, as soon as we lose Wi-Fi, we're all upset, but that might be the best thing that happens to us. By the way, I haven't followed a lot of what Candace Owens has done, but I will say what I have seen, there's a difference between a possibility and evidence for a possibility. You can speculate on anything you want, but unless you have evidence, shut up. okay? Because all you're doing is causing dissension among the brothers, which is something the Lord hates. If you want to present a possibility and say, well, this could be true, okay, it could be true, but don't accuse people for doing something for which you have no evidence.
Boomer alert. No, I'm kidding. I agree, honestly. I'm not a fan of Candace.
Should hop on a one-way flight himself.
If I was Maduro, I'd head to Russia or China right now.
Because
His days are numbered. Something's going to happen. Whether it's internal or external, I think something's going to happen.
The firepower that's off the coast, right? This is an armada. This is a lot of U.S. forces. Are we about to invade Venezuela?
I don't think so. I mean, if we do, I'd be surprised.
Earlier this month, President Trump announced he approved covert CIA operations inside Venezuela.
What do you think removing Maduro would signal to other socialist regimes in the area?
It'll be the end of Cuba.
Cuba relies on subsidized Venezuelan oil to prop up its economy.
America is going to take care of the Southern Hemisphere, and we're going to make sure that there's freedom and democracy.
They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie. He's dead. God help him.
Did you see Steven Crowder and Dave Smith's debate on Trump getting impeached? No, I saw a clip from that, but I do want to watch that. I do want to watch that. I just saw a single clip from it, but it wasn't about Trump being impeached or not. What is Dave Smith arguing Trump should be impeached because of strikes on Iran? Really? Like, I don't know. I'm just guessing, but.
Now get up. He never, ever, ever, ever gave up. I know the idea of America depends on our respect for the institutions.
He's going out doing a speech for like a $2 million fee, really?
That govern and guarantee a free society. It's time to get re-engaged.
Prematurely calling him dead. I know. It's like, come on. They're trying to do that. It's like, oh, he didn't know he died, but. Like, if you saw, especially if you were an eyewitness, you're going to say he's dead.
Time to act. To fight like hell. To fight like Teddy would fight. There's no...
It's pretty obvious he was instantly dead. It's kind of weird if you were recording yourself like that. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like the internet culture, but it is strange. If he whipped out his camera and started recording himself right after it, that is just... I mean, I'm not saying it's a conspiracy, but it's a strange thing to do. Dave wants Trump removed from office completely and says anyone who disagrees isn't Christian. Well, he did support Big Bad Israel. Breaking news? I don't think so. This is the breaking news.
At Carboy 5,447 tip $5 through Super Chat. I hate when people say, oh, you people made fun of George Floyd, so what's wrong with making fun of Charlie Kirk?
George Floyd died when he was getting arrested for committing a crime. Charlie Kirk died practicing peaceful speech. It's completely different. You're arguing apples to oranges. The argument is not it's not a legitimate argument. They're trying to escape blame from their side and their political violence when they say that. And plus, it was a much more violent death for Kirk, which means the gloating is even that much more evil than Floyd's death. And on top of that, Kirk versus Floyd. Floyd wasn't even political. Kirk was a huge asset to the Republicans. So it's apples to oranges in every facet. It's not even close to the same thing. The auto pen pardons will be considered void since they were not authorized by the president. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I had heard that it was that you could do auto pen signatures as long as the president, it's in his, like, as long as he approves of it, but via him saying it. But I don't know. I know they're trying to get rid of a lot of the auto pen pardons and maybe the executive orders, but I don't know if they'll be able to do that. Is Eric Trump running? Yeah, Eric Trump, I think, is going to take over. Eric Trump is obsessed with crypto. He's trying to find his lane in crypto, I think. Yeah, Israel really didn't break the ceasefire, dude. It's like, the ceasefire is still on. I mean, we can say there's military action, but I don't know. Where's the Eric Trump thing? Is it on here?
I think the difference in the Republican Party is, unlike the Republican Party of, 2017, where you had, Ben Sass and you had, Mitt Romney and you had Paul Ryan and you had, a lot of these people who were, worthless. Like, my father was the greatest rhino hunter of all time. He went into Washington, D.C., he killed every rhino. And now all of a sudden you have a Republican Party that's fighting. You look at the job that Marco is doing. He's doing a phenomenal job. You look at the JDs. You look at the Jim Jordans. I mean, I could go down the list, but you've got killers. And you have people who are willing to be loud. I think the difference.
Is Cleveland still going to build a new stadium in Brook Park? Yeah, they are. They're going forward with it. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this live stream. I'm going to end it there. I appreciate everyone for coming out. Eric feels more likable than Don Jr. Yeah, I think Don Jr. maybe has a little bit more of arrogance to him. That's why people think that. But Don Jr. is more popular than Eric. All right, guys. I will see you later.